during the last session, a lot of people said that hey, we have a great business going in India, but we are hitting a wall. We are not able to scale beyond certain limit. The sales cycles are painful. The contract values are not very attractive, and customers are not open to adopt new technologies, and which also made a lot of people think that we should look at global markets. A lot of people suggested that we should look at bringing someone who can help them kind of bring their own insights in terms of how they could scale globally. So with that motivation, we brought in these two gentlemen, and they will bring their own insights to the table. And you would see a lot of contradictions in their views as well. And that is also the motivation because because there is no right answer always. I think every business is unique, and every business is going through their own journey in terms of how they are going to scale. So you will take away a lot of different perspectives and contextualize in your own business so that you could scale. So I'll invite maybe Hari. Hari runs ProMobi and Scalefusion. ProMobi is the company's name, and his product is Scalefusion. I have been in discussions with him, and I got great insights from him in terms of how he has kind of added hundreds and thousands of customers globally, and what kind of partnerships and how he has been able to crack those deals. So I thought it would be very interesting to bring it to the table. More importantly, he's bootstrap. So he has built a pretty sizable business without any external funding, which was also very unique. So I'll let Hari do the justice to his own background, but I thought I should give a quick small snapshot.
So I run this company called ProMobi Technologies from here in Pune, East Side, Viman Nagar. That's where we're based. Three products so far we have built, or rather 4 we have built. The first one being Scalefusion, and then NuoPay, and then NuoTeam. Of the 4, one has failed, so it is okay to fail products. After a couple of pivots, it failed, so it is okay. That is also okay. You have to move on, right? And now the last product which we launched last year is in the phase of product market fit, right? So here are some of the ideas that I'm going to share from my perspective of building this business out, right? From sitting here in India, if you see in my website, you will see Made with Love from Pune, India, proudly so. All right, so first and the most important thing in my understanding is customer acquisition strategy. I think one has to be reasonably clear as to how you're going to get customers to buy your product, right? So it involves a lot of things like understanding the market, understanding the competition, and in the value chain, where do you fit? Are you right for small and medium businesses, mid-sized enterprises, or large enterprises? I think as you have to have that clarity where you are operating in that market, so that you don't chase the wrong side of the business. I'm going to talk global because all my products have gone global from day one. So I've not really built any product for India first, not by choice or anything of that sort. Return of investment for a software product in India was always difficult. I knew it from my previous experiences working in other startups. So I chose the path of going global right from day one. So my insights will mostly come from that perspective. Yeah. So inbound sales or inside sales, as people call it, is probably one of the nicer ways to go about doing business because it is cheaper. So if your business, how do you determine that inside sales would be useful for you? It's if there is enough and more people who are searching on the internet for your market for a product like yours, right? So you look at the search volumes, you look at what your competition is doing, and you try and map a customer journey, right? Okay, they're going to come on the website not just to for content. They're not going to simply consume content, but they're actually willing to give it a trial and then eventually get converted into a customer. So if that is the journey that a customer is taking, of course you have to do a bit of experiments to see if this will work or not for you. Once you get a clarity, that is when inside sales will make sense. It's probably not for all. In fact, in my products also, one product is doing well with inside sales, but not the second one. Second one is purely outbound. if you are going to sell it to mid-sized enterprises or larger enterprises, mostly what I have noticed is that, of course, you can have a few here and there buying online, but most of them work either with partners, telecom providers, value-added resellers, MSPs, and the likes, right? Or it's direct. You go to the customer and make a sale. That is something that has not worked for us. That is going direct to the customers. We have always gone via partners, it is outbound. And that is what I will be able to throw more light on. I can tell you what failures I have faced when it comes to direct, outbound customers walking into the office and giving a demo and then trying to convert them. That has not worked for me. Specifically, talk about inside sales now or inbound sales. Assuming your business is right for that, and your customers or your competitors are also doing similar kind of business, it makes sense to get into this. This is one of the better things to do. It is cheaper to start, right? Because you can do it sitting here in India and you can sell it globally. Of course, probably one of the points that I've added that. But this is what we do. The nuance in that is that we don't go month on month. Sometimes there is this pressure that every month you have to see growth, 10%, 8%, that growth has to happen. What in my experience, it has not played like that always. There have been good months, there have been average months. Then you learn and then you try and make it better the month after. So we take it, so we operationally plan. So there is a strategic plan for the year, but then operationally we take a quarter after quarter after quarter. So within that quarter, we have certain goals for ourselves, like the number of leads, the closure rate, the time to close. Once you give demos, for example, in our product, demos are given. Demos to closure rates, the CACR, all of this you kind of have some idea of what you want to achieve for a quarter and then try go about achieving. Month on month puts a lot of stress. We have tried that also, but then we moved away from month on month and went on to quarter. Looks alright. Now sometimes with the growth, it feels like people keep asking, can we push it a little further? Maybe 6 monthly. That's a call you can take. So, but the important point is that track month on month. You're not letting the tracking going away, but the goals are measured quarterly. Goes without saying, double down on whatever is working. If one of these operational strategies is working well, go full on, go full blown. Right? For example, you got a geography working, like North America working, double down, invest more. It helps, it pays. So the idea is to sensitize your marketing team that they are revenue oriented as well. Now, how do you do that? You tie it with the sales kind of, not really incentive, annual incentives, yeah. But then you have to tie it with your sales folks. They work in a loop. Otherwise, by the end of the month, the marketing is complaining that, oh, we gave all the leads. The sales is saying the leads are all of bad quality. We can't do much. This ping pong happens. You don't want that ping pong to happen. You want to tie them up into a nice, I help you, you help me. So the sales guy has to keep giving insights on a daily basis. This is working, this is not working, or at least on a weekly basis. ये चल रहा है, ये वाला strategy नहीं चल रहा है. He's very clear there. The marketing guy says, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm spending in your region, this is the kind of leads that I'm expecting, these are the new strategies that I'm going to employ. Keep giving me insights from the ground. So if they complement each other, I see that it is a lot more useful. Not that I did it the traditional way, but then it did not work because the blame game was getting too much of a kabaddi match eventually. So this probably started working better. Marketing plus more. What is the plus more? The sales guy's job is essentially closures and getting that predictability. You have to make them own that predictability clause. Right? For example, I had one great quarter, 100K, 200K I made in this particular region. The next quarter I make 50K or 25K. That is not done. There has to be some predictability to that region. Try and bring predictability. Coach them to do that. And it is not easy. Easier said than done, but then how do we go about achieving it? That is what is to be coached. Also, the same strategy for different geographies might not work. For example, a strategy that you have devised to even if it is inbound or outbound for a particular geography like North America might not work for Europe, might not work for India. Right? One has to be very clear about that. I'll tell you why as we go along. Once you have this clarity, what does it help in? It helps in investing your money. Because I come from bootstrap startup, I had to always run a tight ship. Right? So it will help you in hiring the right talent, the right tools, and the right amount of budget that you need to spend to get going. Right? This is the clarity that once you have the clarity, this is the insight that it gives you. Where should I invest? Another one in a very small scale. Don't. From my experience, putting everything in one basket has not been really great. It's always good to have another strategy working in the background. Right? Might not be fully invested, but it kind of gets started so that you start collecting insights. What is working, what is not working. Actually, the goal is to bring region-wise predictability. From North America, in a quarter, we'll be able to do X. From Australia, New Zealand, you can do so much. From Africa, so much. Some kind of predictability is what your inside sales eventually has to give you. It can go haywire. Inside sales or outbound sales, however you do it, customer support is extremely critical. If you see in our website, we say customer support is free. Free for all customers who spend $10 with us or who spends $100,000 with us. First level of support is free. If anybody wants additional support, that is when they will come and say, no, I want an account executive who is always available for me. For that, I'm willing to pay. Otherwise, customer support is free. In the market that we operate, it is called the enterprise mobility market or mobile device management market. Thankfully, the deals are all annual. Right? We are not in this MRR game, we are usually in the ARR game. So thankfully so. Right? It gives you additional money upfront. But with that, what happens is that the onus is on you to ensure that you are giving valuable customer service. Right? The complete onus is on you. You're not like, okay, you came on board, you bought the product, I let it be. No. The onus is on us to ensure that they are successful. So it is kind of drilled into the company itself. Why? Retention is always cheaper than acquiring a new customer. Right? CAC is usually expensive. As you keep scaling up the ladder, it gets even more expensive. This is one of my favorite statements I keep using in my office as well. Money in the bank today is better than a promise tomorrow. What does this mean? Is that I'm always on for annual contracts, multi-year contracts, multi-year contracts. A lot of articles on the internet you will see which will say, no, this is not a great idea. Because it is a recurring business, you need to have something coming in the next year. What is the predictability for the revenue for next year? Valid question, but for me, if I have the money today, I can invest and probably do something with that money in the coming year. So, the funda has always been, you see this, if funded startups, what do? They take money when the going is good. Like last year was a fantastic year for raising money, I presume, right? They take the money, dump it in the bank, so that if bad days come, we will use it. The same we are doing with the customers, that's all. Right? If it is there in the bank, hopefully for bad times it will come handy. Imagine, back to back we had one COVID and now this recession that is looming. Right? This will help. In outbound sales, what I have seen is that spray and pray has not worked. I think that is one of my points there. Spray and pray, I will do it all across. This has not worked for us. It has been always picking a geography, reading the geography, understanding how the sale happens. For example, in our product Scalefusion, in North America, we sell it via partners. Right? Partners meaning MSP, telecom, to T-Mobile is a customer, but then T-Mobile will not directly sell it. You need to have MSPs under them. So you go via the MSPs and then get a vendor agreement done with T-Mobile. The same thing does not work in Europe. If you have to work in Europe, it is more face-to-face. That is what we have realized. Sitting here and trying to strike deals has not worked for us. Maybe different with some of you otherwise. For us in Europe, it has been a lot of face-to-face. They expect you to come. They expect you to have an office or a local partner doing it, even in Japan for that matter. Local language, even though they would understand, say, English, they would prefer somebody locally supporting them. Some of the insights that we have. So, you pick your geography reasonably well. So much care, right? Pick one, no. Pick two. And then do only as much. So what will it help is, your energy will not be dissipated looking at all various regions. At least नहीं होता एक जगह या दो जगह पे नहीं होगा. Right? And focus का भी बड़ा पंगा होता है. You will lose a lot of focus if you are going to spray and pray. The partner route, right? Keep this in mind, not all partners are going to get money. 1 in 5, just to sound nice, I put 1 in 5, actually 1 in 10. You end up spending a lot of time. You're educating them. You're saying, sir, come on board, and then you're already celebrating. This big partner I brought on board, maza aayega. No, not all partners will work. But the partners that start to give you money, work with them very closely. The business grows faster than you can even imagine. The most important thing here is that hire the right talent. I had a very long slide. I can talk on this for probably half an hour, but I'll just keep it short for now. Hire the right talent here, a mix of experience, dynamism, and closing skills. Usually don't go for the VP of sales already. It doesn't work. पहले आप the person who is ready to get his hands dirty, वैसे ही लोगों को लाइए. Don't get some VP of sales. From my personal experience, you can do it differently. My personal experience, you got a VP of sales, and then he wants a team under him. It did not work out. For us, what I feel is that the important things over there is that the person has still got to be hungry for closing. खुद से I want to close, right? And usually these are experienced folks. You're not looking at rank freshers. Otherwise, if you don't know how to go about doing outbound, right, you cannot really teach. So it is ideal if you're not a sales guy, if you're not an outbound guy, hire somebody who knows the craft. How do we do it? Hire from your competition, right? Somebody who is not like top notch. कोई Cisco, Microsoft का अगर आपका competition है, वहाँ से please sales बंदे उठाइए मत. They have a brand to back. You have no brand to back, right? So they will be like lost. I was a champion there. What happened here? Of course, you have no brand to back you up, right? So somebody a little better than where you are placed in the market at this point in time. Usually it's a coaching game. It happens all three. The person needs to have a Rolodex in the sense, किसको बेचना है? What is your strategy? So in your interview itself, you be very clear, भैया बेचोगे कैसे, right? They have to have this understanding that I know where I can sell this. You have to do that homework and come. Easier said than done, but if you keep at it, you will get people like that. Most important thing that I understood is willing to unlearn and relearn. आपका company का एक culture होगा. You will have your own culture in the company, right? You don't want people coming from a different organization. Of course, they have experience there, no doubt. But they're going to say, अरे यहाँ पे ये ठीक नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है, ऐसा था, वैसा था. Boss, unlearn. You have left that organization, no point comparing it. Like, यहाँ पे आए हो, unlearn all of that, relearn, and get adjusted to this culture that has been set up. Last bit, the product nuances. What has worked for us, I'll try and say. Product folks should work with customer-facing teams and customers themselves. What does this mean? You have, you don't want product team to be working in a silo. हम बना रहे हैं, तुम बेचो. This does not work. You have to have people who have interest in knowing कि हम जो बना रहे हैं वो कोई खरीद भी रहा है क्या? Is anybody even willing to pay $1 for what we have built? So, of course, you or your co-founder, if you are multi-founder, right? And happy to talk to client, engineering or product manager needs to be there, or at least from our experience. Again, everything is my opinion, yeah. They are always working closely with all the customer-facing teams, sales, support, marketing, success, and with some of the customers directly. This has helped. I don't know how you guys do. We have a bucket list of features to be done, right? हमने एक साल का plan बना लिया. Then we divide it into 6 monthly, and then we say, ऐसा we go about. But then it can't remain like that. It has to be agile. How will that agility come? When customers say, अरे ये नहीं चाहिए, वो चाहिए. Okay, वो चाहिए. I will charge you more. Are you willing to pay? Yes. Then you take that and go to other customers and ask, I'm building this. Are you interested? If I build this, will you buy? So the product team has to be open to these changes, right? Keep that in mind. So agility in product development is critical. For that, your product manager or a set of people in your product team need to be associated with talking to customers. The goal of any product, again, is to solve that identified problem really, really well with some interesting innovations, not some complexly engineered, back-end heavy. It's all good. You can do it in a tech talk, but the customer is not too interested in any of that. By the way, I am a tech engineer turned entrepreneur. So, please, engineers over here, don't take it otherwise. I'm just talking from the business perspective. I don't know how many of you are enamored by Gartner IDC reports. I have worked with Gartners and the IDCs. I've paid tons of money. Has not really worked. So what happens usually is that these people, this is my conspiracy theory. The IDCs and the Gartners want you to keep chasing that golden goose. The 500 feature banaya. They are saying कि CRM होना है तो these 500 features should be there. So you are chugging along. ये बनाते and they'll keep introducing new terms. For example, our industry is called mobile device management (MDM). 5 years back or 6 years back, it was called MDM. Right? 3 years back, it was called EMM, Enterprise Mobility Management, with a bunch of other features. Like 1.5 years back, they called it, what is it? UEM, Unified Endpoint Management. Bhai, ruk jao, kahin to ruk jao. Let me first catch up. So they want you to put that game, put you in that game of, rat race of catch up. You're always playing catch up. Right? फिर innovation कब होगा? उसने ये किया, मेरे को भी वही करना है. उसने वो किया, मेरे को भी वही करना है. This does not end. Right? So you have to be a little innovative. That brings us to the point as to define your why. Why should anybody buy your product and not the competition? That definition has to be clear across the board, including yourself. Right? Playing catch up is okay. Eventually, that strength in the product will come. But that why me and why not a competition, that has to be reasonably clear. A lot of people might disagree, maybe Shekhar himself will disagree here. Perfect playbook is a myth. मैंने जो भी बोला है, take it with a pinch of salt. It worked for me. I'm just saying ये मेरे को काम किया. Whether it will work for you or not is for you to see in your own business, right? So in my opinion, it's a mix and match. Hear everything. अच्छा, take everything in, but do what makes sense for your business. Don't follow fear of missing out. The FOMO जो है, उसने ये किया, उसने वो किया, उसने पैसे raise कर लिया, इसने US में team डाल दिया. Don't really chase that. It does not really. I don't think it works that way. Engineer turned CEOs, please acquire skills like finance, sales, marketing, and success. At least a bit. अगर ये नहीं है तो थोड़ा मुश्किल है. Because when your teams, when you're sitting for your strategy meeting, your teams are coming and saying, "Sir, ये possible नहीं है, ये नहीं हो सकता." How do you counter it if you don't know? Right? That is why it is very important. I think I have mentioned that also. With these acquired skills, besides being hungry for more, also the important thing is you have to be the hungriest guy on the floor. If you are the CEO of the company, you are the hungriest. Everybody is playing catch up with your hunger. Or someday they will give up and say, he's always hungry. Leave it there. But you have to be the hungriest guy. And you're also not only just being hungry, you're also telling how to go about doing it. Here are my ideas. If you have those skills that I'm talking of, those sales, marketing, success, all these skills, if you have some grasp of it. In fact, you should play that part for some time in your company. Each of these roles you play. So you get a sense of kisme kya difficulties hai. Or at least that is what I have done. It will help you in strategizing things better. It gives you a perspective of the business, how it is run, who is buying, why are they buying, how is success, how is support, all of that gives you a perspective, and then probably you can strategize a little better than what you would normally